The greatest enemy of critical thought is generalization, and generalizing eventually leads to very, very bullshit advice. During my research for my YouTube challenge of uploading every day for 30 days, I came across a lot of video titles that were very, very general, but also very clickbaity, like for instance, some of the titles you've seen on my channel recently. I personally don't mind that certain titles are general and clickbaity, but once we get into the content of things is when I start hearing very, very general and bullshit advice. For instance, I made a video on my second channel about this. One of the worst pieces of advice that I've ever received was never to talk about your goals. That's actually from, I believe, a self-help book I've read before. The idea is that if you talk about your goals, you're gonna get this hit of feeling good that you talked about it and not actually work on it. But for me personally, I've never cared about that. I never felt like feeling good after talking about a goal stopped me from working on my goals. Mostly because whenever I talk about a goal, it's something that I'm actually working on in the moment. So it really doesn't matter. In fact, me talking less about my goals and keeping them a secret is something that I feel hurts me more, because when I don't talk about it, I feel less motivated, I feel less accountable because I'm not posting it on YouTube, I'm not talking about it, I'm not like getting hyped about like, yes, we're doing this today, we're telling our friends, and then we show them the results of it and all that stuff. I feel like if I didn't talk about my goals, I would be like less energetic. So the opposite would happen to me. The goals advice is just way too generalized. Basically, it should be more so if you haven't started your goals, if you like are at the very, very stage 0 step. Like maybe, don't talk about your goals and present it as like, oh, this big announcement that you're gonna do it. Like maybe start doing it first and then being like, oh, I made steps to actually do this goal. Like maybe you can support me, maybe you can help me, maybe you guys can offer motivation or guidance and so on. Because that's another reason why you should probably talk about your goals, is because a lot of people are more than happy to actually offer some advice and some help sometimes. So that's why I think it's terrible advice, but it is advice out there in the self-help space. And there's also in general just like fake advice. Fake in terms of, like for instance, one of the videos that I did a rant about recently, which talked about learning about a memory system for remembering everything, a system to remember everything. And basically, the whole system was just taking notes and organizing them, and not showing how they take notes or organizing them, but just saying that that is how you do it because, with recency and frequency, you'll remember things better. And I'm like, come on, like, is that a real video? Is that like actually you trying to introduce a legit method of like remembering everything? It doesn't seem like it. It just seems like a clickbaity title where you introduced a system everyone already knows. It's like these things that are just so general, that stay general. Really, there needs to be more specificity on everything if you want the advice to be good. So that's, I guess, the detector number 1 of bullshit advice is, can you look at this advice and ask yourself, does this apply for like everything? Does this apply to you? Does this apply to if I were to add just like an extra line there? Like for instance, recently I watched a video. The title was How to Learn Any Skill So Fast It Feels Illegal or something like that. And in the video, basically all it said was, yeah, you just need to learn slower and learn one thing at a time and focus on that one thing until it becomes a habit and all that stuff. And yeah, that's true, but like it doesn't help you learn faster at all. And it isn't true for everything either. Like some things, you just need to like really, really rep it and do it a lot, and then you'll just improve in that skill. So that advice automatically is bad because it doesn't apply to everything, but it introduces itself as how to learn any skill like so fast, and it doesn't give you any method to actually learn any skill fast. Like it just tells you like, oh yeah, you need feedback, and oh yeah, like do this until it becomes habit. It's like, you don't need to know that. You will just do it automatically. Like that's just what happens when you learn anything. Like as long as you're learning from like a tutorial or like you're video recording yourself, you're getting some feedback, some form of feedback, And he in the video he even uses like archery as an example, and he was like, oh, like if you were to just shoot arrows for an hour or something like that, would you improve with your aim? And he was like, no, you wouldn't. You need to think about feedback. You need to think about your technique, blah blah blah. But I don't think that's true. I think that's false. I think if you were to just shoot a whole bunch of arrows for an hour, you, by just looking at the target and bullseye and being like, oh, I missed, and just thinking, not even thinking, just naturally being like, I want to aim for the middle and hit it, your body is going to naturally adjust and you will aim better over time. You might not have great technique, but you will probably aim better over 1 hour of just practice with zero like real knowledge of technique or feedback. I guarantee it. I feel like that's just the natural way of how we learn as human beings. So I disagree with the video. First of all, it's too general in that sense. And secondly, if you wanted to actually give good advice, maybe talk about how like, oh yeah, learn a whole bunch of like easy to learn skills, or like various levels of skills that improve hand-eye coordination, improve like general pattern recognition, and then build up those various skills to the point where, yes, now you can do harder skills like archery or gymnastics or whatever because you've done a lot of running, for instance, or you've done a lot of like things related to those skills. And once you can do a whole bunch of various skills, it becomes easier to just learn a new one. For instance, if you play a whole bunch of board games, learn the rules of all of them, like it will be so easy to pick up a new board game because a lot of the rules are just variations of each other. Maybe you'll also pick up like shogi easier. Maybe you'll also pick up any sort of like rule-based set of pattern recognition games or puzzle games as well in the future easier because you've played a whole bunch of board games. None of that was mentioned in that video. Like just learn a whole bunch of various skills. And to me, that's like obvious advice as well. You might not think of it and you might not like approach it that way, but I think it's true. I think if you just learn a whole bunch of things, it will be easier to learn other things because skills kind of just branch off of each other. To me, that's the video I would have created. If it were me making that video of how to learn any skill like so fast it's illegal, like just start off with learning really fundamental basic skills of various things and stack them up so much so that like new skills you'll learn so fast. That to me is like actual advice, real advice. It could be obvious to some people, but it's actual real advice versus just talking about like the basic ass science of how learning works. That is how you can also detect bullshit advice, is if people are just continuously talking about like this science of like how something works, but it's so obvious that everyone already knows how it works and it doesn't need to be explained. I'm tired of that, of seeing that, honestly, in a lot of self-improvement. And I get it, it's fine to remind people of it, but just quickly say it. You don't have to explain it. Like everyone knows you need more sleep, you need to eat a better diet, you need exercise, all of it helps you. Done, I'm done. I don't need to talk about it anymore. If you're not doing that, yeah, you're gonna be tired a lot. So in my video, when I talked about being tired all the time and how to get better with that, I talked about other things. But that's not like bullshit advice, that's just obvious advice. Bullshit advice is more so like, it's just so general that like, it falls apart immediately when you apply some level of specificity to it. And of course, this, I fully realize is kind of ironic. This is also very general. Like when we're applying a general statement to general things, yes, it's also very general. And that's why this statement doesn't always work as well. There is good general advice for sure. General advice that stands up to all specific situations. Like for instance, if you want to learn a skill, you need to practice it. That's like general advice, but it's also obvious. It's not bullshit advice, but it's obvious advice. Either way, I think that ends my rant. I'm just, I'm done with those types of tip videos. Like honestly, I just, in the first place, I'm on Zero Entertainment, so I'm not watching them. But like in the future, once I'm done with Zero Entertainment, and also done researching for this YouTube challenge, I'm just never gonna click on them like ever again. They're just clickbait and useless, and like the titles, I get it. You want the views. They are 1 million plus video like views on those videos. But the comments are hilarious to me. It's just like them admitting, yeah, you're right. Like there's no way to learn fast. You really do have to learn slowly. And I'm like, no, don't give in to that. Like you can learn things fast. Like there are ways to do it. Just look up a tutorial on the specific thing you want to learn and learn at the same time as following the tutorial. Like there are definitely ways to learn faster. Do not like just give in to the idea of like yes, you're right. This video that was titled How to Learn Fast, but says you have to learn slowly. Don't give in to that. Like, come on. That's like the top comment with so many thumbs up. And it makes me so sad. It just makes me so sad that people just listen to these generalizations and bullshit advice, and the critical thought element of things is completely lost. I don't know. It annoys the crap out of me. I really need to stay away from those things. I like making my own versions of the videos though. It's not like I have that much more to offer, but at least I have some specific advice and examples from things that I've done. I really believe that if you're looking for good advice, you want to make sure that you're looking for very, very specific things and specific like how to actually do a very specific skill, like how to learn that faster and everything. Like if you want to learn piano, learn music theory, it helps you with a lot of things with chord progressions as well. Like there's so many things, you know, because I played piano for 20 years or so at this point in my life, like I can actually offer legit specific advice. Yeah, just beware of bullshit advice that's way too general, and try your best to look for specific advice and think about applying that advice to different things if it is general advice, and seeing if it, you know, actually works. Because yeah, I just really want people to try to, I guess, move away from generalizations. I know it's natural, it's very, very natural. It's a very human thing, but I don't know. Over time, I just see more of it, and I'm just, yeah, I don't know, frustrated, just frustrated. Okay, that's my rant. If you enjoyed the rant, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Actually, if you didn't enjoy either, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.